Well, I think we're kind of at a crossroads right now in terms of we need a gut check to just kind of determine how we want to finish the season. We've had overall a really great year, but the last couple weeks or the month of February has been a little bit of a struggle for us, which is surprising to me, to be quite honest. And you know, I agree. I mean, even in our losses, we've fought, but the issue right now is we're not putting together a 40-minute game. We're fighting for 30 minutes, and teams in this league are just too good for us to only play the way that we need to play for 30 minutes. And we're coming down to a lot of end-of-game, last-minute situations, which we haven't executed well. We need to be better. But if we would put together a 40-minute game, I'm not sure we'd be in those situations. Well, I mean, the team that we were that beat Western Kentucky is a different team right now. We haven't played with that type of, I think, heart and guts that we did to get that win. So I think the number one thing is being able to find that competitive edge for whatever it's going to take to go out and compete with Western. They're playing very well. They play very, very well at home. I think overall we executed our game plan well against them to put us in a position to win. But the biggest thing is just finding that competitive fight and that competitive edge for 40 minutes. Yeah, I mean, that's part of the problem. We're not. You know, we played our best basketball in December and January, and this is the first time in my career I've had a team not play their best in February. So it's been difficult, a lot of soul searching for myself and for our team. But I greatly believe in this team. And again, I just think that we need to find our fight to figure out how we want to finish. You know, even these games that we lost, the margin is slim, 2-3 points. UAB was, I think, 7, but there was a flagrant foul in there that, you know, helped contribute to that being more than a 2 or 4 point. So we're not that far away, but it's amazing how just a couple losses can change your team's confidence. And I don't feel like we're as confident as we were in January. And so if we can find that fight and we can find that confidence again, I think we have the potential to finish very, very well these last 4 games, win or lose, but to be a better team over 40 minutes and compete in the tournament. Yeah, I mean, like I said, I think you know, Western has obviously been consistently the best team in this league over time, and it's very difficult to play at their place, although I do feel good about the way that we've played on the road. We've come out very focused, and maybe we'll play a little bit better on the road. It's probably good for us to have a road trip at this point in time. They have their big 3 of Kendall Noble, Ivy Brown, and Tasia Brown in our game. The first time here, we were able to really control Tasia Brown a little bit, so they weren't able to kind of hit us with all 3. But you know, again, it's a crapshoot. I mean, they're so good. It's hard to slow those 3 kids down. So I think we have to have a better balance of playing them both man and zone. We played a majority man here the last time, but they're executing their stuff way better in February than they were in January. And then, you know, I think Marshall is going to be a battle. It's always tough to play there. When we had them earlier in the year, they were without one of their best players. I can't think of her name, but a great shooter for them, and she's back in the lineup. She had a broken hand. So they're going to be a little bit better. I think they've lost some games that they didn't expect to lose, so they're going to be hungry, certainly. And I know that they were not pleased with their performance here. We beat them pretty well. Their coach mentioned to me that he didn't think they gave us great effort in that game, so I can imagine that they're going to come out with much better effort than they thought they had here. It does, you know, and I wish I could come here as a coach and have the answers for you. I think that's been probably the hardest part about this stretch is I don't feel like I have a lot of answers, because I think throughout most of this season we've had great senior leadership. We've had great response from our players when I have to get on them about something, whether it's during games or during practice, and I just haven't seen that same fight in the last 2 weeks from anyone. So I do think it's a little bit surprising, but I also know that I still believe in these kids and I believe in our leadership, and I truly believe we can finish well. Yeah, I agree, and I'm not really sure, to be honest with you. You know, both of those games, you look at Middle and Old Dominion, they're very important games in the standings. They're, you know, games at home. I was very surprised with our start in both of those games, so I don't necessarily have an answer, but I know as a coach, I'm going to do everything I can to control that from happening again. So we're going to make some changes to our warm-up and the way that we prepare ourselves to come out, with the hopes that will help us start better. And then I do think it's on players as well to be able to say, look, this, you know, again, if we don't start that way in those 2 games, is the outcome different? I don't know, maybe. We're certainly not fighting from behind for 30 minutes the rest of the game. We don't have to wait until the last minute or two to take a lead. So I think some of that is ownership on them about how they feel like they can be focused to start better. Well, no, like I said, we can't just scrap what we've done all year. We've lost games by 2-3 points. It doesn't change that we're still a very good team. So, I don't think anyone here is in panic mode. I think when you start changing everything, it becomes a panic mode, and that's not where we're at. I think, again, it's just about fighting over 40 minutes. And I know I've said that throughout these interviews, but that's what I see when I look at the stats, when I look at the film. It's a 10-minute period for the most part that has really, really hurt us, and again, we're talking about our first quarter, but you look at the UAB game, which we lost here at home, was the fourth quarter. You look at our La Tech game earlier in the season that we lost, it was the fourth quarter. So it's a 10-minute span that has been kind of our detriment. So we've got to get that under control.